For thousands of years, they've stood there, silent monuments to an age we can barely begin to comprehend. They are, without a doubt, a testament to human achievement, but they also present a deep and, well, an enduring mystery, a puzzle that has created a profound intellectual divide among anyone who seeks to truly understand our past.
Welcome to Pyramid Perspectives. Today, we stand at the crossroads of two starkly different interpretations of what might be humanity's single greatest accomplishment. So, let's begin by understanding the established view, the story you'll find in our textbooks, the one accepted by mainstream archaeology. This is the orthodox account of the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Now, mainstream Egyptology is very clear on the timeline. The consensus places the construction of Pharaoh Khufu's Great Pyramid right around 2560 BCE. That's during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom. You have to understand, this date is the absolute anchor point for the entire conventional narrative.
And what about the process? Well, it's a story of brute force, yes, but also of incredible human organization. The theory holds that a massive workforce, maybe 20,000 strong, quarried and then hauled millions of limestone blocks. Each one of these blocks weighed an average of 2.5 tons. They used sledges, most likely dragged over dampened sand to cut down on friction, and then hoisted these colossal stones into place using an ingenious system of ramps.
You see, this wasn't just some construction project. It was a societal mission. The thinking is that this was the national project of an entire people, one that was imbued with what some philosophers might call a Weltgeist, a world spirit. It was this collective will, this shared purpose of a nation, that made what seems impossible, possible.
And it's crucial to know the orthodox view isn't just a guess. It's supported by a wealth of physical evidence. Archaeologists have found the remains of bakeries, huge ones, large enough to feed thousands of people, and they're dated to the correct period. They've discovered the tombs of the pyramid laborers. They've even unearthed remnants of the very ramps that they believe were used in the construction.
So, the bottom line for mainstream scholars really comes down to a philosophical principle, Occam's razor. The idea that the simplest explanation that fits all the available evidence is the most likely one. In this case, that means human muscle, clever but recognizably earthly tools, and an administrative power that was frankly unrivaled in the ancient world. No lost technology, no alien intervention, just human ingenuity.
But as solid as that foundation might seem, there are cracks. There are anomalies, data points that just don't quite fit into that simple explanation. And these anomalies, they demand their own accounting.
Just consider this number for a moment. 80 tons. While most of the blocks were 2.5 tons, the massive granite slabs used to construct the king's chamber, they weighed up to 80 tons. Each. This is an entirely different order of magnitude, and it poses an entirely different level of logistical challenge.
And this really is the core of the critique, championed by figures like Graham Hancock. They point to the almost impossible precision of the original casing stones. They point to the mind-boggling task of transporting those 80-ton granite blocks over 500 miles from a quarry in Aswan. And they ask the hard question: are simple copper chisels and ramps truly enough to explain this level of engineering?
And this leads them to a radical question. Could there be a whole missing chapter in our history? A lost, advanced civilization? Maybe a golden age that existed before a global cataclysm like the Younger Dryas climate event, something that happened about 12,000 years ago. Could that have laid the technological foundation for structures like these?
Now, these critics, they bolster their case by pointing to other archaeological curveballs, things like Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey. We're talking about a massive, sophisticated temple complex built by hunter-gatherers 6,000 years before the Great Pyramid. It completely shatters traditional timelines of civilization, and it proves that advanced construction is far, far older than we once believed. And so, here we are. We find ourselves at a great divide. And this isn't just a disagreement over tools and techniques. No, this is a fundamental crossroads in how we interpret the story of human history itself.
On one side, you have the orthodox view. The pyramid as the ultimate monument to the Herculean will and the organizational genius of the ancient Egyptians and them alone. And on the other, you have the heterodox possibility that this is a legacy of lost wisdom, a technological echo from a forgotten chapter of our past.
This brings us to the final and really the most essential question. The whole debate, it ultimately comes down to the nature of evidence itself and what we choose to hear when these ancient stones whisper to us.
When these monuments seem to speak of capabilities that are, well, beyond what our historical records can account for, how do we interpret that silence? Does the absence of evidence for lost technology automatically become evidence of its absence?
So, ultimately, we are left with a choice. This is the decision at the very heart of the pyramid paradox. Do we honor what we know for certain about the incredible ingenuity of ancient humans, or do we allow ourselves to suspect that there are still profound secrets buried deep beneath the sands?
The verdict, you see, remains unwritten. It rests not in the stones themselves, but in our interpretation of them. So what is your verdict? Let us know in the comments.